Welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to draw graphs in statistics. So you look at bar chart, pie chart, histogram, cumulative frequency curve, or ogive. We are starting with bar chart. So bar chart is just drawing of data in a bar form. To draw a bar chart, you need to have a table. So like this question, the table below represent grades obtained in a test by student. So we have grades, then we have frequency, which represents frequency is the number of students. So grade A, 5 students had A, grade B is 10, grade C is 15, grade D we have 12 students, grade E we have 8 students, and grade F we have 3 students. We are to draw a bar chart and to use the bar chart to find the modal marks. So let's start. To draw a bar chart, you need your horizontal line and your vertical line. Then scale the horizontal line or axis according to the marks or the grades that you have given in the question. So if there are 8 grades, you scale them into 16. If it is 4, you scale into what? Into 8, because you need equal spaces. Then label it according to the items given. Then you scale the vertical axis according to the frequency. So you take into notice the highest frequency. So you draw bar to represent all the items. So for instance, grade A, you draw to the corresponding bar according to the frequency. You draw a bar for grade B, then draw a bar for grade C according to its corresponding frequency. You draw a bar for grade D according to its corresponding frequency. Grade E, you draw a bar for it. Then grade F, you do the same. So when you finish, you shade as you have done here. You shade it to stand out. So let's move on to bar chart. But before you go to bar chart, to find the modal mark, we identify the bar with the highest, the longest bar will be the one with the modal grade or marks. So let's look at the bar chart. To draw a bar chart, you also need a table, like grade A having 15, grade B is 30, grade C is 60, grade D is 45, grade E is 30 degrees. We have to draw a bar chart. Okay, let's start. To draw a bar chart, you need to sum all the frequencies, all the number of students. So we have 15 plus 30 plus 60 plus 45 plus 30 plus 180. So it will give us 180, not plus 180, to give us 180. So what you need to do is that you find the sectorial angles. So A is having 15, so to be 15 over 180 times 360. So 180 cancel itself, 1 cancel 362. 15 times 2 is 30 degrees. You come to B, say 180 cancel 360 to be 2. 2 times 30 is 60. Here to C, they say 180 will cancel 362. 60 times 2 is 120. Here they say 180 will cancel 362. 45 times 2 is 90 degrees. And here to see 180 will cancel 362. 30 times 2 is 60 degrees. After this one, you use your compass, draw a circle this way. Then you use your protractor and transfer the angles to each of the sectors. Draw the sector with a protractor. Make sure you measure the correct one. Let's proceed. We now move on to histogram. A histogram is a bar chart without spaces. So a bar chart without space, so it's the same as drawing a bar chart. So to draw a histogram, you need to get one, data, or compute your class boundaries if they are group data. Then draw your horizontal and the vertical axis on the graph sheet. You label the horizontal axis the item and the vertical quantities or frequency. Then represent the frequencies or the vertical axis class boundaries. Then draw your bar to represent the items. Let's start. So before we start with the histogram, let's look at how to calculate for class boundaries. So what we have to do is to subtract 0.5 from the lower class, then add 0.5 to the upper class. When you talk of lower class, they are all the first numbers of each of the interval. So 0 to 9, you to have a class boundary of minus 0.5 to 9.5. The reason is that 0.5 minus 0 minus 0.5 is minus 0.5. Then 9 plus 0.5 is 9.5. 10 to 19.5 will be 9.5 to 19.5 because 10 minus 0.5 is 9.5. 19 plus 0.5 is 19.5. Then 20 to 29 will give us 19.5 to 29.5 because 20 minus 0.5 is 19.5. 29 plus 0.5 is 29.5. Then come to 30. The same way we get 29.5 to 39.5. Then 40 to 49. You get 39.5 to 49.5. You get 50 to 59. We have 59.5 to 69.5. Then last one, 60 to 69, will be 59.5 to 69.5. Then let's start and know how to draw our histogram. So to draw a histogram, you need your vertical and horizontal axis, as you know. Then you mark the horizontal axis class boundaries. You mark your class boundaries. So you record from the least class boundary to the highest one on the table you have drawn. You record them. So as we there you have minus 0.5, 9.5, 19.5, 29.5, 39.5, 49.5, 59.5, 69.5. Note, don't use max greater than or less than. Use all the class boundaries. Then you now locate frequency on the vertical axis. You make sure it accommodates the highest frequency. So you draw a bar minus 0.5 to 9.5. You draw a bar to represent it according to the frequency. Then 9.5 to 19.5, draw a bar to represent it according to the frequency. 19.5 to 29.5, you draw a bar according to its frequency. 29.5 to 39.5, you draw a bar for it. Then 39.5 to 49.5, draw a bar to represent it. Then 49.5 to 59.5, draw a bar for the same thing. Then 59.5 to 69.5, draw a bar for it. So after which, then you move on to find what the histogram, but you can shade the graph for it to stand out. So let's look at how to find the modal mark. So to find the modal mark, you identify the highest bar. Then you have you just draw a diagonal from the tip to the next bar, the tip of the next bar. Then draw another diagonal at the opposite to the tip of the next bar opposite to it. So you see to intersect at the two diagonals intersect. Then you extend a line through the intersection to the x-axis or the horizontal axis. Whatever number that you get, you read it as the modal mark. As the modal mark. So you draw two diagonals to the next side and the tip of the bars. Then draw it down to locate your answer. So from here, our answer will be around maybe 40, 38 or something. So let's check. So from the modal mark, to find the modal mark, locate the highest bar and draw two diagonals at the tip of the highest bar and to the next opposite bars. So where the diagonals intersect, we extend it toward to the horizontal axis or the class boundary to pick our marks. So from the graph, the modal mark will be around 38. So the diagonal lines for the estimation of the modal mark should all start at the tip of the bar and end at the tip of the next bar. So note that it should be the longest bar. So you identify the longest bar, then you draw diagonal from the tip of the longest bar to tip side to meet the next bar, tip of the next bar. So where it intersects, you extend it to the x-axis to locate your answer. Good. So we are ready to start the cumulative frequency curve, the ogive. So cumulative frequency curve, ogive, is a linear graph drawn from a cumulative frequencies or cumulative frequency table. So to draw cumulative frequency curve, here are the steps. You compute your cumulative frequency from the normal frequency table. If the data is group data, we compute the class boundaries. We draw our horizontal and vertical lines. We label the vertical axis cumulative frequency. Then the horizontal axis, we label it class boundaries. We plot a cumulative frequency curve, a cumulative frequencies against the upper class boundaries or the max. So let's take an example. So we have this table. So the table below represent marks obtained by student in a test. So we have max frequency. So the frequencies, you find the cumulative. The question will give you max and frequency. So we find the cumulative frequency. So the first frequency will be the first number for cumulative frequency. Then we start adding. So 8 plus 9 will give us 17. 17 plus 4 will give us 21. 21 plus 15 will give us 36. 36 plus 6 will give us 42. 42 plus 3 will give us 45. 45 plus 5 will give us 50. So we now move on and draw our cumulative frequency. So as usual, we draw our horizontal line and the vertical. On the vertical axis, we label it cumulative frequency. Then make sure we mark the numbers. It should accommodate the highest frequency, the highest cumulative frequency. Because this one is not group data, we just locate the marks on the horizontal. So you mark according to the highest marks. Then we start plotting. So 1, we plot against its frequency. 2 against its cumulative frequency. 3 against corresponding cumulative frequency. Then 4 against corresponding cumulative frequency. 5 against corresponding cumulative frequency. 6, 2 against corresponding frequency. Then we plot 7 against corresponding frequency. After this, we use freehand. Then we join all the points that we have plotted. We join all the points that we have plotted to form a curve. So this curve is called cumulative frequency curve. Good. I hope you are getting something. Let's look at group data. With the group data, we have a frequency table. It will give us max and frequency. What we need to do is that we now add cumulative frequency. So the first frequency will be the first number for cumulative frequency. So we start adding. 5 plus 10 will give us 15. 15 plus 12 will give us 27. 27 plus 6 will give us 33. Then 33 plus 2 will give us 35. 35 plus 7 give us 42, and 42 plus 8 is 50. So if you want to check, you sum the total frequency, it should give you this number. If you sum all the numbers here, it must give you 50. We now move on to class boundaries. So here we have 0 to 9, it will be minus 0.5 to 9.5. 10 to 19, if you subtract half from 10, you get 9.5. Then you add half to 19, you get 19.5. 20 to 29, if you subtract 0.5 from 20, you get 19.5. If you add 0.5 to 29, you get 29.5. So 30 to 39, we get 29.5 to 39.5. 40 to 49, we get 39.5 to 49.5. Then 50 to 59, we get 49.5 to 59.5. Then 60 to 69, we get 69.5 to 59.5 to 69.5. So we are set to draw our cumulative frequency curve. Note that we will use only the upper class boundary, required mass greater than, so we use this side, all the second numbers in each of the classes. That's what we are going to use. So let's start doing that. So we now draw our cumulative frequency curve. So we rule our horizontal, then our vertical with a ruler. Rule our horizontal and our vertical with what? A ruler. So when we are done with that, then we mark the vertical axis cumulative frequency. So we accommodate the highest, the lowest to the highest number of cumulative frequency. So we know that the highest is 50, so we make sure it accommodate that. Then you mark the horizontal axis, the upper class boundary. So the upper class boundary start from 9.5, 19.5, 29.5, 39.5, 49.5, 59.5, 69.5. Then start plotting. So 9.5 we plot against its cumulative frequency. 19.5 plot against its cumulative frequency. 29.5 plot against its cumulative frequency. 39.5 plot against its corresponding cumulative frequency. 49.5 plot against its cumulative frequency. 59.5 plot against its cumulative frequency. Then 69.5 you plot against its cumulative frequency. After which you use your free hand, you join all the points that you have plotted. You join all the points, you join them to form a cumulative frequency curve. This is the cumulative frequency curve. So after this curve, they will ask us to find a certain question. So as you see, we have first quarter. So we calculate for the first quarter, then read your answer. Then this is the median. Calculate for the median mark, then you come and read your answer. Then the third quarter or upper quarter, to calculate for it, then you read your answer. Let's look at how you read it. So when they ask you for median, what you do is that you divide the total frequency by 2 position. So here the total frequency was 50, so 50 over 2 is 25. So locate 25 on the cumulative frequency side. Then you trace the line to touch the cumulative frequency curve. Then you bring it down to what? The x-axis. Wherever it will touch, you pick that one as your answer. Then the first quarter means out of 4. So 1 over 4 over times sigma f position. Then come and read. The upper quarter is 3 over 4 times sigma f position. Then you can also read. Let's check that. So the median, the middle is the middle number. So middle means half. So 50 over 2 position, you get 25th position. Then read from the graph, the median will be 29 marks. So then we have first quarter. First quarter means 1 over 4 sigma f position, which is 50th position. So you get 12.25 position. Then you also read from the graph, the first quarter will be 16 marks. Then the middle quarter or second quarter is the same as the median because it's 2/4 times sigma f position is 1/2. Then we have third quarter or upper quarter, which is 3/4 times sigma f, which is 50th position. Get 37.5 position. That one to you read from the graph, and the mass is 48 marks. We are then to find interquarter range. It is the difference between upper quarter and the lower quarter. So upper quarter is 48, lower is 16, making 32 marks. So interquarter range is the difference between upper quarter and the lower quarter. So upper quarter minus lower quarter. Then we have semi-interquarter range. It is interquarter range divided by 2. So it means upper quarter minus lower quarter divided by 2. So the result that we obtain here over 2. So it will be 32/2. Then we get 60 marks. Good. Let's look at decile and percentile. When you talk of percentile, it means out of 100. So when you have kth percentile, it means k/100 sigma f position. Then read it the same way we did to the quarter. It can be any number, it can be 50th percentile, 60th percentile, 80th percentile. Decile means out of 10. So if they say third decile, it is 3/10 sigma f position. Then read it the same way read the percentile and the quarter. So thank you. Next time we look at how to solve more questions. Thank you very much.